Shalom, this is Levi Shore. Welcome back to Speaking of Torah. We're going to talk a little bit about Parsha Bamidbar. We're going to talk about what's so special about Shabbos and the holiday of Shavuos. And it's kind of interesting that right now, like a lot of Jewish people don't know so much about Shabbos and don't know so much about Shavuos. And it's kind of crazy. And they're some of the most important holidays of the whole year. So all the holidays, the Moedim, this cycle, the whole pattern, it really begins with Shabbos HaGadol, the great Shabbos, the great Shabbat. So what happened is when we were slaves in Egypt, Hashem gave us a mitzvah, He gave us a commandment, and He told us to take a lamb into our homes on the 10th of Nisan, and that was for that Shabbos. It's called Shabbos HaGadol. And it was very dangerous at the time to do this because the Egyptians worshipped the lamb. The Egyptians had all kinds of animal worship. Their avodah zarah, their gods were animals. And they worshipped the lamb, and they were furious that they saw the Jewish people bringing the lamb into their homes. Then we shechted the blood of the lamb on the 14th of Nisan. I'm sorry, the lights are kind of flickering, but I think it's going to be good for the lightning of Shavuos, so we'll have a little special effects going on in the background. So then on the 14th of Nisan, which is Erev Pesach, Erev Passover, we shechted the lamb. And we put the blood on our doorposts, the famous, passing over, Passover. And then we put the lamb, we roasted it on a spit, and there's all kinds of halakha, what kind of wood you can use, and it has to be roasted, and it can't be cooked any other way. And then that lamb, that night of the 15th of Nisan, the very first Pesach Seder, the very first Passover Seder, which we had in Egypt, instead of now where we eat the afikomen, where we eat the matzah, really at the end of the Seder, what we're supposed to do is eat this beautiful roasted lamb, this carbon Pesach. And that was the first time we did it. We did this mitzvah, the carbon Pesach, and then we went out the next day, on the second day of Pesach, the second day of Passover, we went out of Egypt. And Hashem brought us out in this miraculous way. And then we start counting. This is the time of the Sfiras HaOmer. And each day we count for 49 days, and we try to work on our midos. We try to balance all our emotions. We try to grow spiritually. We do all kinds of things. We can learn in Pirkei Avos. We learn Pirkei Avos. We can learn the 48 ways of acquiring the Torah in Pirkei Avos. And it's a time of musar and learning and spiritually elevating ourselves to get ready for Shavuos. And then on the 21st of Nisan, the 7th day of Pesach, the 7th day of Passover, that's when we crossed through the Red Sea in this miraculous fashion. And we saw more miracles at the crossing of the Red Sea than we even saw in Egypt. And it said that even the simple maidservant had a more clear vision of Hashem than even Yechezkel. Even Ezekiel, the prophet, who saw Hashem's throne room in this amazing prophecy. And even a simple maidservant had a clear understanding of Hashem and Hashem's role in the world on that day of the crossing of the Red Sea. So then we go through all these amazing journeys on these 49 days. We went to Mara, the bitter water, and Moshe throws in, the bitter wood, and it becomes sweet, and the sweetening of the water, the healing in the month of Iyar. And then finally, on the 50th night, it's Shabbos. And the Jews had their Shabbos Suda, on the night of Shabbos, and everyone goes to sleep. And then we were awakened on the 6th of Sivan. It was a Shabbos morning, and Hashem woke the Jewish people. He woke us all with thunder and lightning, and we came out of our tents. And it's the tradition, says in the Gemara and in the Midrashim, that every neshama, every soul of every Jewish person who would ever be born was all there to hear Hashem speak at the Matan Torah and to give me the Torah. We went out of the tents and we saw Har Sinai, we saw Mount Sinai, and it was covered in all kinds of beautiful, lush grass. And it was covered with flowers, and that's why I had the minhag to spread flowers around the shul, and we put flowers in our homes for Shavuos. And we saw the top of the mountain was burning into spiritual fire, the same spiritual fire that Moshe Rabbeinu, that Moses saw in the burning bush before Hashem sent him down to bring the Jewish people out of Egypt. And then we heard this infinite being speak to us, the Aseres HaDibros. We heard Hashem speak the 10 Commandments. And we saw the sound waves coming from every direction. The sound waves coming from the north, coming from the south, coming from the east, coming from the west, coming up from the ground, coming down from the sky. And we saw it could only be an infinite being. This was no person. This was no man. This was the infinite being, the creator, himself, Hashem, speaking to us and creating a special relationship with the Jewish people. So what's interesting is the original plan was that Hashem would give the Torah in Gan Eden, in the Garden of Eden. He would give it to Adam Arishon and Chava, Adam and Eve. But unfortunately, Adam picked a different path for mankind. And instead of eating the fruit of the Eitz Chaim, instead of eating the fruit from the Torah, which then would have brought on the giving of the Torah and the building of the Beis HaMikdash, right? Hashem chose a different place. Now, what's interesting, where was Gan Eden? Where was this garden? And the translation is the Garden of Pleasure. It's a beautiful garden that Hashem planted himself, a garden filled with every kind of flower, filled with orchards of every kind of fruit tree, filled with vineyards, vines and all kinds of wines and grapes and every kind of fruit growing on the trees and the vegetables growing in the ground. A beautiful garden planted by Hashem himself, the Garden of Pleasure. But Adam Harishon, he chose to eat from the Eitz Das Torah, from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, not from the Torah. And then we went into this history as we know it. And where is that place? That place is on Har HaMoriah, Mount Moriah, which is now called the Temple Mount, where the two Beis HaMikdashes were built, the two temples stood. B'ezrat Hashem, very soon, a third one. But Hashem chose a different place. He led us out to the Midbar. He led us out to this barren desert. Very little water, very little plants or vegetables for a person, very little fruit, not much for a person to survive in. And Hashem fed us the manna. He fed us the manna, and now it purified our bodies, and now our bodies were more ruchnius. They were now spiritual, like the neshama itself inside us. We are really a spiritual neshama, a ruchnius. That's who we really are inside this physical body. And now that we had the ruchnius again, we could hear this infinite being speak to us. And he spoke the Ten Commandments. And we, at that time, we were the Am Badad. We are the nation separated from all the other nations. And we began our special relationship with Hashem. We are Hashem's chosen people because we chose Hashem's Torah. We chose that we would follow Hashem's Torah. And we said, Na'asa v'nishma. We will do it. We will do your Torah. We will do your mitzvahs, and we will learn. And we will learn all about your beautiful mitzvahs and your beautiful Torah. And it says that we are ish echad lev echad. We are like one man with one heart. We are completely unified at Mount Sinai as we heard Hashem speak to us. And the truth is this. The truth is that there's only one infinite being. Hashem is one. We say every day, we say the mitzvah of Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu. Hear Israel, hear Jewish people. Hashem is our God. Hashem echad. Hashem is one infinite being. There is no other. And the Torah is the blueprint of all creation. The Torah is one. The Torah is the name of Hashem, the full name of Hashem written out with all the letters. So let's, all the Jewish people, let's celebrate this holy Shabbos. Let's celebrate the holy Shavuos. Let's celebrate the time of the Matan Torah, the giving of the Torah, the gift of the Torah. And B'ezrat Hashem, next Simchas Torah, not only should we receive the Torah again and celebrate receiving it, on Shavuos we should all dance on the next Simchas Torah. They killed us. They attacked us on the Simchas Torah of the past year. And this year we should all dance together as Ish Echad Lev Echad. The Jewish people should be reunited again, united with each other, united with Hashem, and united with Hashem's Torah. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you back again soon on Sweet and Good Torah.